Two wildfires burning in San Diego County, what CAL FIRE is saying about the progress in the battle against them, and what you can do to stay prepared.
People should know that these are here.
A warning about zombie snails found in San Diego, how they could affect the fish you eat.
Different names, the same phone number. Are those real people?
Is San Diego's short-term rental law working? The big announcements made at San Diego Comic-Con over the weekend. It's 6 a.m. on Monday, July 29th, and you're up with CBS 8.
Good morning to you, the Monday after Comic-Con. Hope you're feeling good, had a good weekend. Glad you're with us at 6 a.m. I'm Neda Iranpour.
And I'm Evan Irani. Thanks for joining us. We want to start off with a check of the forecast as we start off our Monday. Beautiful weekend that we just wrapped up. Weather was just about in line with average, and it looks like today will continue on that trend. Still warm out there, so still feels like summer. Mid-70s along the coast, 80s inland, and 107 for the deserts. Coming up, we'll talk about the warming trend that we'll have. It was drier this weekend, but we're going to have humidity back on hand by the end of the week and also see some warmer temperatures as well. That's all coming up in just a bit.
And right now, firefighters are battling two wildfires in San Diego County. One of them is burning in Far East County, just north of the border.
The other in North County, just north of Fallbrook. CBS 8's Chris Groh live outside of CAL FIRE headquarters this morning with the latest on those containment efforts and what people can do to best prepare for a wildfire. Chris?
Yeah, good morning, Neda and Evan. As we know, this is peak fire season, and we have two examples of what exactly that could look like. Now, let's start with that Border 65 fire where CAL FIRE crews are battling that still at this moment. At last check here, still 90 acres have burned. The good news is that the forward rate of spread has stopped, but they still only have about 5% containment. Now, as you see here on your screen, this map, this is in an area, again, called Marin Valley. It's about 5 miles south of Barrett Junction. This is one in which there were no injuries that have been reported, no immediate cause of fire, and again, in a pretty remote area, so they're not concerned about structures, but it speaks more so about, again, the sort of current state of what a lot of the brush and the environment and currently with, the, again, as Evan has been noting, with the average temperatures and so forth, but again, that hot feeling, if you will. Now, as we move on over to the trail fire, this is one where CAL FIRE has actually been able to get a lot more containment here in a short amount of time here. This is now 75% containment, burned 12 acres, and we do know, of course, that the forward rate of spread has been stopped there. Now, the reason this one has been of note, of course, is the fact that they have actually lifted evacuation warnings, which were put into place because they were concerned about the potential for this to grow and to grow quickly. But now firefighters are pretty much mopping things up here. Only about 12 acres have burned. And again, those evacuation warnings have been lifted. This near, of course, the Deluz Heights area. Now, as far as what you can do, of course, there's still time to make defensible space. Now is pretty much not the right time, though, just because of current conditions and so forth, to use heavy machinery, but you can still use hand tools and so forth. The reason you don't want to use heavy machinery is that you don't want to hit a rock and then spark a fire. So you can do that. Of course, you can always make sure that you prepare your go bag, speak with your family about what to do in case you're separated or all together and there's a evacuation order that's issued near you. And of course, for more information, you can always go to cbs8.com. Evan and Neda.
Chris, thank you for the latest on that. And now all evacuation orders have been lifted for the Grove fire. And this morning, it's 100% contained. Glad to report this. The fire was started by lightning. This is what it looked like last week when it started in North County, just east of Palomar Mountain near Oak Grove. And it ended up burning about 900 acres.
Today, a juvenile court hearing is scheduled for two 15-year-olds accused in a fatal shooting in Chula Vista back in March. One man was killed, another seriously hurt. It happened at an apartment complex on Calle Verona off Heritage Road. Right now, the teens are facing attempted murder and weapons charges. Prosecutors expected to bring a motion to dismiss the case and to defer prosecution to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Also today, city crews expected to begin street repairs on Balboa Avenue in Kearny Mesa. Today, repaving will begin on Balboa from Kearny Villa Road west to Genesee Avenue. The entire project is expected to take at least a month. It is all part of a citywide effort to address much-needed road repairs.
And now let's show you these. They're so-called zombie snails. Yeah, that's what they look like. Interesting shape, right? They've been found at Lake Murray. CBS 8's Isabella Roberts spoke to a local researcher about how they could pose a health risk to people who fish there.
Species known as the zombie snail has been found here at Lake Murray. I spoke to a couple people here who say there should be more signs to let people know.
People should know that these are here.
In 2019, a student of Professor Mike Heckinger found a snail that looked a little out of the ordinary.
And he was doing some highly encouraged exploration, outside of his dissertation. He saw some high-spired unicorn horn-shaped snails in the fresh water there.
His student took some snails back to the Scripps Institution of Oceanography, where he discovered they were hosts to parasites that can infect humans, called trematodes.
A trematode, by the way, is a type of a parasitic flatworm.
The species is invasive, and Heckinger explains how the parasite works.
The parasite sets up shop in a snail. It takes over the snail's body. This is now my body to make parasite babies. Well, they leave that snail, they swim in the water, and they find a fish. They dig underneath the fish's skin and they make a little cyst.
This is when the parasite becomes dangerous to humans. If someone were to eat an infected fish, they would get sick. I spoke to a few people out fishing at Lake Murray today, and no one knew about the species.
No, they haven't said anything about the snails. They haven't said anything about catching or releasing.
Dakota Brown was spending his Saturday fishing and said there should be signs to let people know.
Parasites should be more spoken about, especially the smaller ones or the newer ones whenever they adapt.
Professor Heckinger says for those who may eat the freshwater fish they catch, to take precautions.
If you cook your fish, you're killing those parasites. If you like to eat fish raw, freezing will also kill them.
If you do consume an infected fish, the parasite won't zombify you.
If you just have a few of them, no big deal. They'll die in probably a couple weeks or a month and they're gone.
He recommends that Lake Murray posts signage soon.
My recommendation is at least put up signage at these places and let people know to cook or freeze their fish.
In San Diego, Isabella Roberts, CBS 8.
And now cleanup is about to begin at any moment after Comic-Con wrapped up last night. 135,000 people attended, which is the venue's maximum capacity. So those are people with badges. Comic-Con set to stay in San Diego for the next 2 years at least, but there are concerns that it could leave after that because of high hotel costs.
The issue that we come up with, there are sometimes some mid-range or smaller hotels that either don't want to take part in the room block program anymore or reduce the room blocks and charge, a lot of money for hotel rooms, and our attendees can't afford that.
So 2027 is the question. What will happen? That spokesperson saying even if they can get the bare minimum of room blocks, the convention could sign for another 3 years with San Diego. And coming up here in just a few minutes, we'll have more on what happened at Comic-Con over the weekend. A lot of stars were in town. Evan, in San Diego, of course, as it does, put on a show.
Yes.
Great weather. I mean, it was summer, it was warm,
yes,
but beautiful.
It's very easy for San Diego to show off weather-wise. It just has to do what it normally does.
Right.
Sunshine, warm temperatures. Temperatures were right around average over the course of the weekend, so we're glad that it came through. Last weekend, so not this one that just wrapped up the weekend prior for Pride, temperatures were a little above average, but both were sunny and dry. And we're going to stay dry to start off the week, but we are going to see that chance of showers start to pick up by the end of the week with more monsoonal moisture, meaning mountains and deserts could pick up on those showers and thunderstorms. But today, another dry one, sunshine across the county, 74 along the coast, 85 inland, 85 for the mountains, and 107 for the deserts. When we talk about Pine Valley, this is one of those areas that strikes a balance, right? Sunshine for most of the week, but we do have that chance of wet weather starting to climb, 7%, 14%. Look at Sunday, 24% chance of some pop-up showers that will come into play. And oftentimes these do come to fruition toward a couple spots around Julian, Mount Laguna, all the way up to Palomar Mountain. Walking out the door right now, it's 60s and 50s. Coolest spots are off toward areas like Ramona, for example, at 52 degrees, 55 in Campo. And over the course of the weekend, downtown San Diego only made it to 77 degrees. That was for both Saturday and Sunday as our high temperature. Still, nonetheless, 77 is 1 degree warmer than average for this time of year. Looking at the next 5 days, we're going to have a ridge of high pressure moving in from the east. As it moves in, it will bring that wraparound moisture to the mountains and deserts, but it will also bring a gradual temperature climb into the upcoming weekend, with this Friday being the warmest day of the work week. Otherwise, though, primarily 80s out there. This live look outside shows there is still some cloud cover to work with as we start off the day from Otay Mountain. And those clouds are in some cases lower down to the ground, especially along the North County coastline, but otherwise just kind of patchy cloud cover to kick off the day. Let's talk about traffic. It's 6:10. Clock just made it there. And we're looking at a crash that popped up on the 54. So this is one that's still causing some difficulty in the area, trying to make your way toward downtown Chula Vista area. So that's as it meets the 5 freeway. That's that one crash symbol that you see there. You also might notice that over the Coronado area, getting into Coronado, you might see some slower speeds across the bridge. And as you get onto the island, very typical for this 6 o'clock hour. It's a busy Monday morning as many people are getting started with that commute. CBSA.com/traffic can help get you where you need to go as fast as possible.